All twins are individuals, but because they're born as a unit of two, it can be difficult to develop their own sense of self. This can be particularly challenging if they're identical twins. This is how some parents have encouraged their twins to develop their own individuality.
So one of the things we do, I don't know if you guys do it, is we dress them individually in terms of different clothes. We don't want them to look exactly the same and everyone just come up to them and go, oh, you got twins, don't they both look lovely?
Yes.
And they both look identical.
Yeah, I guess that's more important because you've got identical twins.
We have, yeah.
Whereas as opposed to our fraternal twins, they look so different. They look like two sisters of the same height. That to me sort of like helps with keeping that separate.
Well, I think it's very important we have one-to-one time. So every night the bedtime, I read the story for one, then Dad read for the other one, and we also try to rotate every night so we can have, you know, the girl and the boy a little bit each time.
I feel personally as well that I get that time when I feel I can bond with one of them. Whereas often you have both of them kind of fighting over you, and you have to give them both a cuddle at the same time, and you're thinking, well, do I look at you and make eye contact with you? And so I think
I also think it's also very important for them.
Definitely.
And we don't feel guilty because Dad is also with the other one, or someone in your family is also having that time.
I think it's important that you're focusing on them as an individual so that they effectively have that one-to-one time with you. Helps them with their attention, it helps them bond. I think, like you said, bond with you. It really does.
We try not to refer to them as the twins, so we do call them by their names, Isabella and Raphael, which we think is quite important.
We try to stress that your water, Isabella, your water, Raphael, so both of them can hear and recognize their name as well.
We've got their own beds, they have their own space, their own beds, and it's got their own toys in there, and I think that's also key.
Yes.
So then they don't squabble over it, and then two, I think with twins it's quite key that they don't have this concept that anything is theirs, that they have actually got to have their own things and they can't just use somebody else's.
I think it's really important for Christmas, birthdays, to give individual presents, so we're always very careful about that. And when we speak to family, we always ask, you know, we ask them, if they ask us what presents, we just say, you know, as long as it's one each for both of them.
Do you also ask them as well? Because we tried to say to them individual presents, not two of the same thing.
Yes, definitely.
Because that causes, they just get bored of both of them instantly.
Exactly, no, that's very true.
They're not going to be the same, they will have differences. And you shouldn't be worried if the one is developing faster than the other.
Exactly.
They'll all get there in the end.
That's right.
Totally. Yeah. With the two boys, Ihan and Ariam, what we've noticed is that Ihan is very physical, and Arian is very dexterous. So what we try and do is we nurture that.
Yeah, same thing with Daisy. Daisy's language, she babbles a lot more, so we sort of encourage that as much as we can. But then, as you say, you don't want to neglect those skills on the other child.
I think with the twins, and I'm going to call them the twins, just for ease, I don't see them as like joined at the hip. I see them as two individuals. They're exactly the same age, but they are just two individuals, totally. And we're lucky.
That's how some parents have encouraged their twins to develop their own sense of individuality. My advice is to find out what works for you and your children.